Hello and welcome back. In this video, we are going to install some libraries and then we are going to update the tsconfig.json. Okay, so we add some configurations to the config file so that we will be able to change the absolute paths when we import from our application. Okay, so if we import from one file into another, we want to change the absolute paths. Okay, so the first thing is we need to install TypeScript. But before TypeScript, make sure you have Nodemon installed globally. So run this command, npm install -g, then Nodemon. Okay, so this will be used to run the server locally, and it will always restart the server if there's a change. Okay, now what we want to install first is TypeScript. So npm install TypeScript in the project, and then we want to install TypeScript -transform -paths. Okay, so we install this as dependencies, not dev dependencies, but dependencies. Okay, TypeScript and TypeScript transform paths. Okay, and then once we have those, the next thing will be to install some dev dependencies. We need to install, so run npm install. We need to install ts node. Okay, we need to install tsc alias. This will be used to build the project, and then ts configs or config.paths. Okay, we want to install them as dev dependencies. Okay, not just the regular dependencies, because they're only needed locally. Once we build, we will not need them anymore. Okay, so install ts node, tsc alias, and tsc config paths. Okay, so install these dev dependencies. Now let's go to our tsconfig. So open tsconfig. Now in this tsconfig file, what we are going to do is we are going to set a plugins property. Okay, we set the plugins property, and then we set the paths property inside the compiler options. Okay, first let's go, we add plugins that we want to use. It's going to be an array, and then inside we add transform. Okay, and then the name is the TypeScript -transform -paths. Okay, so TypeScript transform paths, and then TypeScript transform paths. The second option will be after declarations. Okay, declarations, we set this to true. Oh, sorry, not here, but outside. Okay, this will help us transform our paths. Normally we will have, if we import, we are going to have a path like this, maybe something like this. Okay, and then maybe file here. Okay, we want to transform this path to something like this. Let's say maybe @ notifications. Okay, /file. Okay, so we want to transform the path from this right here to this on locally while building, or while developing locally. But when we want to build, we need a way to transform this path back to this original path. Okay, because if we don't transform this path back to the original path, then the build will not be successful. We'll always get errors. Okay, so that is one role that this TypeScript transform paths is playing. Then after the plugins, now this is where we are going to set the paths. So we set paths. It's going to be an object. Now, since this is just one service, it's going to be @notification, then /**. Okay, and then we want to map it to square brackets, quotes, src, then /**. Okay, so what it means is every file that is going to be inside this source directory, the paths will be imported using @notifications/ and then the other parts of the path. So if you want to import a file that is inside the source into another file, instead of source /** or maybe .. it's going to be at notifications slash and then the other parts of the file you want to import. Okay, now with this, locally building is fine, but when we run npm run build, we need to transform this part from this at notification back to the dot slash or the absolute parts. Okay, so that's why we added this transform parts. And then one last thing, let's go back to our package JSON. In this script, we are going to add just one script at this point in time. Okay, or maybe we can add two. We add the one to run the server locally and then the build. Okay, so the first one is going to be dev, and we are going to use nodemon -r, then tsconfig -parts, okay, /register, okay, and then source src slash, the entry point to our application will be app.ts. okay, I can then on line 5 here change this to app.js, and then the name, you can change the name to change it to something else, Java notification service or whatever you want to call this. Okay, so nodemon -r tsconfig parts /register source /app.ts. And then one other thing I forgot for us to install, because we want to format the logs that is displayed in the console. We want to print the logs. There is this tool we need to install, npm install pino-pretty. okay, npm install pino-pretty. Pino is a different logger, but we are not using that logger. Instead, we are just using this pino-pretty library to print the console messages. Okay, so go ahead and install this command. When we start the server, you are going to see. Okay, and now we'll add pipe pino-pretty-c. okay, so this is going to be when we run this command, it's going to start the server, and then the logs will be pretty in the console. Okay, it's not just going to be some JSON, it will be formatted properly. Okay, so this is the first command we want to add. And another important thing for those using Windows, probably I've gotten messages about it. It seems like using the / doesn't work. For Windows, you can try using maybe the /. Okay, so for Windows, using / doesn't really work. So try with the /. And then I'll add the build command. For the build, we are going to use the tsc, I think tsc alias. Okay, yeah, we're going to use the tsc alias to build. So we say tsc --project, then tsconfig.json, and okay, tsc-alias -p tsconfig.json. Okay, so this is the command that we are going to use to build the application. Okay, so yeah, I will just overwrite for now. Okay, so just go ahead and add this. When we run npm run build, this is the command that will be executed. We are using tsc, and then we are using this tsc alias. Okay, so with this now, we have the def command and the build command. In the next video, we'll add some other libraries and then start setting up in the source folder.